So you can see we've already created an extract, right?
It's so dark. That's cool. Let's see. And what would that taste like? Because that's not even worth straight oatmeal. Yum. This is an experiment. This is a real experiment.
This is a real experiment.
And you've not done non-alcoholic before.
We have not brewed a non-alc beer in this lab.
This is exciting.
Yes.
I love it.
It's relatively easy to make beer. We're making an extract.
Okay.
What could go wrong is we've actually made more sugar than we want.
Okay.
And so we might get a little more alcohol than we want.
Okay.
But because we put less grain in there, it will never really be a 5 or 6% alcohol beer.
Okay.
If anything, it's a 2 or 3% beer.
Okay.
So one of the first things that we do on a brew day is make water.
Okay.
So water is one of the most underappreciated of the ingredients in brewing, and water has a lot of impact on process and on flavor. We're adding salts back into the water. For this non-alcoholic coffee stout that we're making, we want to have a particularly hard water that has a lot of bicarbonate present, and that's going to help us round out some of the malty, chocolatey flavors while balancing out astringency.
Sounds good to me.
So what we'll do is weigh out some of those salts and add them to our water before our brew to mimic a Guinness water, for example. So now go ahead with your little scoopula and grab a little pinch. All right, and then just maybe about half of that you can add onto the weigh boat. Yep, and just slowly keep an eye on the scale, and we're going to do about 0.4 grams, and that's perfect. And then just go ahead and grab that, and let's add it directly to the mash.
Ooh. Okay.
We have 5 minutes, and then what we will do is we'll cut that pump, we'll lift that basket up, and then we'll rinse it with the sparge water to allow that to fully rinse and make as much extract as possible.
Okay.
Oh, that's what that's for. Okay.
So that essentially our wort was filtering down through that grain bed, and it's still what we call lautering, which is the straining of the wort through the filter bed. And so what we're going to do is now rinse it. So we're maximizing the extract off the grains.
That makes sense. And this is the water we just made?
This is, yes.
Okay.
And also, typically what we do is we don't like to run it completely dry, but this lautered so fast, we weren't prepared for it. So like I said, this is an experiment for us as well. So now this represents the start of the boil, so we're going to add our first hop addition. So you can go ahead and do that. So these are technically what are called our bittering hops, and so our bittering hops here are East Kent Golding. These are what we call a noble hop. These are good for stout flavor.
It smells exactly like the bitterness you would taste in a beer. How much do I put in?
All of it. Go ahead.
I can just fire away.
Yep, fire away.
Okay.
You can see how that foam is starting to rise a little bit more, and as you add the hops, you might see it go up a little bit more.
Okay.
Yep, and then go ahead and grab that paddle right to your right and give it a
This
little
one?
bit of a stir. And you can really smell the difference now, too.
I can. Wow.
All right, so we're finished, and we're going to be ready to pitch. What we'll do is effectively run that hot wort through this chiller. So this is just a simple temperature change. The cold water chills the hot wort. And then we let the yeast do all the work. So we always say brewers make wort, yeast make beer.
Okay.
And would you like to do the honors?
Absolutely.
So just open up that cap and go ahead and dump it right in. Anchors away. So that's the yeast slurry. We are using a biological method today. So we are using a yeast that doesn't do well at fermentation. And we'll put it in a keg, force carbonate it, and in a couple days it'll be ready to drink.
I love it. I can't wait.